Hello YouTube, it's Ryan here with Hobbies Man once again, and today we're going to be talking about Ranking of Kings. We're going to be talking about the anime, and it's going to be an anime review. So, yeah, there's a bunch of people that were, involved with this. I don't remember who the studio was. I think it was Wit, maybe? If that's not the case, I'll, add a little clip where I fix that issue. But in terms of people that worked on it, I mean, Sosuke Toka was a writer, of course. Yusuke Hata, Makoto Fujigama, Taku Kishimoto, Megumi Inoue, and Kazuki Oshima and Maiko Okada are all directors, writers, producers of the series. So, yeah, I do think that the studio was also Wit, but I might be wrong. If that's the case, I will fix it somewhere, but, it is what it is. So, this is a really good story, actually. I'm currently obsessed with this. It is my new hyperfixation. This and Witch Hand Atelier are my two top things right now. It's a beautiful story. It's so good. I love Boji. He's a great character. There's so many things about this story that are really good. It's basically a fairy tale. In the simplest sense, it is a fairy tale. It's about this boy who's a prince and his desire to become a king. And he's not evil. He's a very naive, actually very kind-hearted little kid. Well, I think he's actually like 18, but he looks like a little kid, which is funny, right? This kid can't speak. He can't hear. He is deaf and mute. And he is the firstborn son of the giant king boss. He's literally a giant, like a mythological creature. And his wife and the mother of Boji was also a giant. Her name was Sheena. And Boji somehow ended up looking like a normal human, actually even smaller than a normal human. He's a very tiny kid. And we learn eventually that this is because of a curse, a situation where boss wanted more power. And so in order to get it, he basically did a deal with the devil. And this affected Boji. And this doesn't deter Boji at all. He doesn't give a shit. He wants to be the king. He wants to follow in his father's footsteps. And in fact, he wants to be even better than his dad. He wants to win the Ranking of Kings. He wants to be the number one king in the world. And the Ranking of Kings is the system that we infer was put in place by these gods after this uprising from humans caused them to lose some of their power. And so they had to find a new way to control people. And so they used the Ranking of Kings to do it. And Boji wants to win, but one day his father dies. His life was cut short, and he basically died of old age, I guess, but also kind of more like an internal sickness, something that you can't fight against. And he dies. The demon appears, and it leaves. But basically, people understand why this happened, right? And Boji is told that he's going to be king. Eventually, his stepmother, Queen Healing, who is a goddess, by the way, she's the best character ever. But initially, she comes off as a bad person. She is like, you know what? We can't let Boji be king. He is too small, too weak, too frail to do it. Let my son Daida, his half-brother, be king instead. The vast majority of the people that are, in charge of this, the so-called Big Four, which are the four friends of boss and also the four people that are in charge of the kingdom after him, agree with her. And so at their coronation ceremony, Daida is picked, and Boji is appalled by this. He doesn't understand why it's happening if he's the next one in line, but he also doesn't hold any ill will towards anyone. He's just kind of sad that it's not going as planned. Eventually, a convoluted process leads Boji to be expelled from the king from the keep and told to go elsewhere, to go on a journey, to do something. Kind of with the blessing of his stepmother, who actually really loves him, even though she initially comes off as a bitch. But she's so good. I love Healing so much. She's the best. She's actually a wonderful character. And so Boji heads out. And he is betrayed by one of the guys that's with him. And he ends up falling into hell because that's just what you do in manga. And he is saved by his buddy Kage, who is this amorphous black blob who is descendant of an ancient line of assassins who eventually shed their human bodies to become these amorphous blobs of shadow. And his buddy Kage is the last one that remains of them. And he and Boji become friends over this loneliness that they both feel. And he gets saved by him when they fall into hell. And once they're in hell, they seek an audience with the king of hell, Dessa. And he's like, you guys are too weak. And in fact, the people that you thought were going to help you is not actually me. It's actually my brother, Despa. And so go into the underworld and find him, and he'll teach you what you need to learn. And so Boji goes to him, and he he learns every fucking Keka Genkai under the sun. He becomes a fucking Sharingan user. He learns how to use the Byakuya, and he does a bunch of crazy training, and he becomes this super powerful but like tiny character, and it's so funny. He's like this glass cannon. And I'm joking. He doesn't actually learn Naruto techniques. It's just a joke. But he has this ability to tell the weak points of a human body. He basically has the ability of Shatterpoint from Star Wars, if you guys know what that is. So he can analyze a person or a tool or a thing and realize what their weak point is. And with his little needle sword, he can attack those points. And so he can defeat his enemies without killing them. And he uses this style because it is the best thing he can do. He is a giant that has been cursed to weakness. And he learns this power, and he becomes an amazing fighter, an amazing character. He's so cool. It's awesome. And I'm just joking. He doesn't actually learn Sharingan, and he doesn't know how to use the other eyeballs. I forgot what they're called. The Byakugan. But his skills are basically that. He can analyze things really fast, and he can hit pressure points that no one else can see. The same way, Neji and Sasuke can do. So he has mastered this, and he sets back home. He heads home. He's like, I have trained, I have learned, I am ready to go and save my kingdom, because at this point they have realized that that it's under attack from within. Basically, this mirror called Miranjo is plotting and doing things like against everyone's will. And so Boji heads out to try to fix this problem. And it's a really wonderful thing. And I don't want to say anything else because I'm near the climax of the story. Don't want to ruin that. So overall, it's a wonderful, crazy, good, amazing, really enjoyable fairy tale that I love. It's just so good. I love the characters. I love Boji. I love Kage. I love Hilling. I enjoy Dorish and Beben. I don't care too much about Apis or Daida, but Miranjo is interesting. Boss is cool. Everyone is a really interesting character. It's all good stuff. Hokuro is hilarious. He's like a simp for Boji, and it's just so funny. It's just so good. I love this story. It has a great balance of comedy and cuteness, and this like crazy undertone of darkness that is just so good. It's really, really interesting. I like it a lot. It's a medieval fantasy, of course, and it actually has a very soft magic system. Magic creatures exist, magic powers exist, but who the fuck knows how they work? And I think that's actually really appealing, because it makes it really interesting, because it's not abused. And the magic system isn't really used all that often, but there's one character that consistently can shoot lightning. There's one character that's like immortal, like a Pillarman. There's one character that can use healing magic, and then there's Miranjo, who can use multiple magic powers. But she's also from a magic kingdom, so it makes sense that she would have more magic powers than everyone else. But it's not something that is abused. There's not a magic system. There's not a power system that you have to study and understand. It's not like Naruto, where you have the 5 chakras and then the 5 other chakras, and you have to figure out how it works. It's much simpler than that. It is more fairy tale-esque, like not fairy tale the series, but fairy tale as in like old stories, old magic stories. It has that vibe and that style to it, and it's just so appealing, and it's so good. So yeah, it's a 10 out of 10. Probably the best probably the best anime that I watched this year. and it's so good. Yeah, I really love it. It's it's a really good thing. I really want a lot of merch from it, and I also really want to see the manga published in English. I have the first volume of the French one right here, actually. Let me see. But I can't read it. I bought it because I was like, oh yeah, I know a little bit of French. I can probably read this. And I tried, and that's not the case. It's pretty hard, actually. I get pretty stuck on it pretty quickly, so it's not really enjoyable, and it's not really appealing to do to try to read this. But I do have it. The Spanish version from Ibrea from Spain is coming out sometime, already came out. So I might buy that, but I might wait for the Mexican edition if it ever comes out at some point. But the point is that I want it to be in English. I really want to collect this manga a lot, actually. I think it's a really wonderful story. It's really enjoyable. I love the art style in the anime. I don't necessarily like it too much in the manga, but it's fine. I'll get used to it and I'll like it, so it's fine. But it's a wonderful story. If you guys have not watched Ranking of Kings yet, definitely give it a watch. It's like supreme. It is superb. It is so good. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Ranking of Kings. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.